Om Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyaye Sarva Vighnopashantaye Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtiveda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, we're going to look at the 8th chapter. It's called Akshara Brahma Yoga. Aksharam refers to the Brahman, in fact, that which doesn't decline, that which doesn't change. So Param Brahma, and then Brahma itself is Brahma and Atma, both the identity. So yoga is the sambandha or connection. So this is a chapter that talks about the connection between the individual and the cause of everything, the source of everything. So the chapter begins with a question. So Arjuna here asks a question to see Krishna. The question is based on some words that were mentioned in the previous chapter. So which he asks to define. So with that he asks, and then one other question he asks him. So we'll look at that starting from verse 1 onwards. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adidaivam kim uchyate adiyajñah katham kotra tehesmin madhusudana prayanakale cha katham Jneyosi niyatatmabhihi. So Arjuna asked this question, Kim tat Brahma? So what what is it? What is it that you mean? Or what is the definition? How do I understand these particular words? Which ones? So Kim tat Brahma. What is the meaning of the word Brahma? Kim Adhyatmam. What is Adhyatma? They say Adhyatma Yoga. These words are used. So what is Adhyatma? What do you mean? What do you mean by karma? This is 3. Number 3. Then Adhibhutam. Adhibhutam. 4. Adhidaivam. Adhiyajnaha. And Katham. So what are these meaning of these particular terms? Not only that, then one other question he asks. Prayana kale katham neyaha asi niyatatmabhihi. Katham neyaha. How are you to be known? How are you to be understood? How do I understand with reference to you what happens? Prayana kale. Prayana kale is marana kale. So at the time of death, so whatever is the connection between me and you, how is that to be recognized, or how is that achieved? How is that understood? How is that recognized? How is that accomplished, etc.? So there's the implication of the final question. So for which Sri Krishna begins by answering them one by one. So we'll see the terms as we go along. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः. So, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So, starting with the first one. What is the meaning of the word Brahma? Brahma means Aksharam, that which is Aksharam. Naksharati. It is the Aksharam. So, that which does not decline, that which does not decay, that which does not change. In other words, anything that changes with reference to time and space. Really, what do you mean by change? So the change that occurs in our body, that change, either it is change in time. If you sit in one place, then stira, without doing anything. It's not that you're going to be the same all the time. You're going to change. So I'm going to change how I'm going to decline. In time, I'll change. Okay. So not moving, sitting in one place over a period of time, my body is going to undergo a change. My mind is going to change, etc. So there is movement in time. Correct? Not only that, suppose I take the not much time, but then immediately I can move in space also. That is one kind of movement. So any movement, any change takes place, it takes place within time space framework. Here, when we use the word Brahma, we are referring to something that is not subject to change. In other words, that is not subject to time and space. It's not within time and space. So, as we have seen, it is something that what we call as transcends time and space. Okay. So Brahman is that which transcends both time and space. This is what is called as Nirgunam. Okay. So Nirgunam is that which itself any qualities, even gunas are within time space alone. So that which transcends everything is Nirgunam. Or it can be taken as Sagunam also. So Brahma is used in two senses. Either Nirgunam, from its own standpoint, it is free from gunas. But with reference to the world, it becomes it becomes Saguna. Okay. Because world itself is full of guna. Brahman is cause of everything. Correct. So when I say cause of everything, it can be looked at from its own standpoint or from the standpoint of something else. Reference. When I look at you, ask you who you are. So you can answer me that question. You can look at yourself either from your own standpoint, who you are, or you can look at yourself from the standpoint of somebody else, some reference point. So the reference point can be another person, it can be your profession, it can be your geography, it can be your place of birth, etc. So when I say who am I can say I'm an Indian. So that is I'm using a particular reference point, which then it doesn't change me. It's just a way of understanding who I am from the standpoint of some reference, which is the guna, really speaking. So that's the qualitative difference. So there's a guna difference between an Indian and American with reference to the place of birth. So that is what is called as sagunam. So when I say sagunam, I take a particular reference point. With reference to that reference point, I describe myself. So therefore, some kind of a quality comes in. But that is really not my essential nature. Yeah. That is an incidental characteristic of who I am. But essentially, what I am, when I look at that essence of me, which is the self, which is the Atma, which transcends everything. So is naturally itself, since it transcends everything, including all the qualities. Okay. So looking at it from its own standpoint, Brahman is understood as being nirgunam. Looking at it from the standpoint of something else, some reference point. Here, the reference point being the whole manifest Jagat. So why manifest Jagat? Because it is Jagat Karanam. So since we are looking at it as a cause-effect relationship, So here the reference point, if I take as the effect, like I'll take a reference point of my son, for example. So that I become, with reference to my son, I become the father. That is my quality. So that I'm the cause. There's a cause-effect relationship. Like that, for the Jagat also, if I take Jagat to be an effect, and then I look at the cause which transcends everything, it assumes a Sagunam quality as the cause. Okay. So the word Brahman can be taken in either way. Aksharam. In either case, it is Aksharam. It doesn't decline because infinite. So being not limited by anything, so it is infinite. So therefore, either way, so that is what is Brahman. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Paramam also is that which transcends everything. So this Desha Kala and Vastu transcends time, transcends space, and is not any particular object which is defined by time and space. So that is what is meant by Paramam. Then Kim Adhyatmam he had asked. Okay. Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate. Swabhavaha. What is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is something with reference to the self, to the individual. So with reference to the individual, he says, so Swabhavaha is Adhyatma. So what is Swabhavaha? He says from the standpoint of Brahman, if you take, so Swasya Param Brahmanaha Bhavaha. So Swarupa. So Brahman, the Swarupa of Brahman. Okay. So its nature, its essential nature, which is described as being Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. That is the essential Swarupam. Even though Nirguna. So Nirgunam, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are not gunas of Brahman, but they are the nature. They are the words that are used to define what is meant by the word Brahman. So, or he says Swabhavaha Pratideham Pratyag Atma Rupena Bhavanam. So Pratyagatma with reference to the individual, what is my nature? So I am in the form of Satchidananda Swarupa, the Atma, thus ultimate subject. That is what is called as Adhyatma. So there is Brahman, there is Adhyatma. Then next one was Kim Karma Purushottama. So hey Purushottama, what is the meaning of the word karma? For which Sri Krishna says, so Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaraha Visargaha Karma Samnitaha. So Samnitaha, the karma, the word karma, by which it means, he says Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaraha Visargaha. Visargaha is Visarjana, is a yajna. By word Visarga is meant yajna. So it says Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaraha Yajna. See, that which gives rise to the bhutas, okay, that which brings about the utpatti, the creation, the coming into being of the individuals, is the what is it that that is the cause of our being here? He says, Gita says it is yajna. Elsewhere he explains this much more in detail. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Yeah. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhavaha. Yajnad bhavati parjanyaha yajna karma samudbhava. There is this verse, it says, the beings are born of annam. Correct? This is obvious. So annam is, so the food. Okay. The food, not just plants. Okay. Those plants don't give rise to beings, but the plants, so which become food. Okay. Not all plants are food. So plants that are food in the form of food that is taken in by a jiva, and then from that essence of that food, then the so progeny is born. Correct. So the person who's born really, so is born of I'm born of my parents, and the parents are born of their parents. But really speaking, everything all sustained by Annam alone. Okay. Food is the one that gives birth, gives rise to the being. It makes it grow, it makes it sustain, it makes it survive, etc. So Annam is the really the Karanam, the immediate cause of the person's coming into being. Any being, any jiva. So thus Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. What about Annam? He says, Parjanyad Anna Sambhavaha. Parjanya is the waters, So it is the waters that, really speaking, without water there is no food. Parjanya, in fact, it says in the Shastram that the rains, the rains are the one that bring life to this earth. The jivas come through the rains, which is so true. It is true, even scientifically, it's true, really speaking. So you know why? Because rains is water. And then this water, all life begins in the ocean, correct? They say all life begins in the ocean. Now, in the ocean, our body is supposed to be made up of certain elements, certain minerals, certain elements. All that is constituted of, this body is made up of, is there in the water, in the oceans. Okay. So, really speaking, all the essential ingredients of which this body is made, including water itself, plus all the elements and all the minerals, they are all there dissolved in the water. They're all there in the water. Okay. So that is how life starts there. And those waters come from, so waters really come from the space. All water comes from original space. So even though we think this water evaporates and then come, this is one form of water, recycling of water that evaporates and then again comes down in the form of rain. But rain is not the only source of water. Water also comes from space. So in fact, if you look it up a little bit, so on Google, it will say, so every second there's like tons and tons of ice that comes into from space into our atmosphere, and then as soon as it comes, it becomes part of when you say water, don't forget water is in the form of vapor also. That is also water. Anything H2O is water, whether it's in the form of ice, form of water, or in the form of vapor. It is all water. There is water in the sun also. Sun has water. Even though we can't imagine it, but sun has water. All the spots in the sun that you see, they are water vapor, which reduce the temperature of the sun, in fact. So, water, Parjanyaha, is the origin. This water, when it comes down, all the elements, nitrogen, etc., which are there in space, they supposedly dissolve in the water, and from there it comes into the ocean, and then that somehow the life began there. Okay. So, in other words, what we are saying is, Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. So Parjanyad Anna Sambhavaha. So this Annam, which is really the source of life. So life, where did this life come from? It not just came from the water as such, but in the water it came from Prishti, from the rains. And then how does that come? He says. That also has that jiva. For the jiva precedes that in terms of what? He says, Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. This yajna, yajna is the sacrifices, the prayers done by jivas before. Okay. These become the karma phalam, which become the cause of the jivas to descend to the earth. Okay. Earth means here we are born for a particular karmic purpose, and so this purpose is determined by the previous yajnas that are done, and those yajnas are in the form of what? Karma. That is what we call karma. So when the scripture uses the word karma, karma can be used in a general sense, meaning any particular action. But when scriptures talk of the word karma, usually they mean yajna, any action done in the form of a prayer, in the form of an offering, is what is called as yajna. So that becomes the original cause of what? Of everything being here. Thus he says, so bhuta bhavod bhavakaraha visargaha karma samyitaha. What is meant by the word karma? It is this yajna, which is the one that gives rise to human beings. In other words, the karma which becomes as a result of karma phalam we are born, that is what is called as karma. Okay. Okay. Big explanation. Then next is, what is adhibhutam? Adhibhutam kim proktam? He says, adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. Adhyatmam we saw. Adhyatmam was the self, which doesn't change from an individual standpoint. But he says, this refers to the bhutas. Adhibhutam is bhutas. Uh, Bhutas are the beings. He says prani jatam, prani samuha. The beings, all the other living beings are what are called as bhutams. And they are what? Their nature is ksharo bhavaha, ksharati. Brahman is aksharam. Atma is aksharam, doesn't change. Whereas the beings are what? So that part of me that keeps undergoing change. The individual, the jiva, it is what is called as, all the jivas are called as the bhutas, therefore, So adhibhutam, all the beings, other beings also, the bhuta yajna we do. So when we when we feed animals, etc., it's called bhuta yajna. Ksharo bhavaha. Then adhidaivatam. What is adhidaivam? He says, Purushascha adhidaivatam. Purushaha by adhidaivam. Daivam is meant the divine being. Okay. Is Purushaha. Who's Purushaha? So Purushaha, divinity in people, is what is called as Purushaha, really speaking. So Purau Vasati, that which Puri is Deha. Puri is Puri is the word for city also. So like Jagannath Puri, So Puri, Deha, body is also called as a Puri, because it is where I live. I live. We all have a home. Sometimes we feel I don't have a home. I don't have a home. People complain. I don't have a place to live. I don't have a house. But really speaking, we all have a place to live, right? We all have a home, and that is what this deha is called puri naturally. So we are all landlords. We are all landlords who live in this house. It belongs to us. Nobody can take it away. You cannot sell it, etc. So this is purely owned by us. This is the one who lives inside. It's called as Purushottama. So the Uttama Purushaha. So Uttama Purushaha is first person in grammar, which refers to what? I. It refers to I, the singular first person. Whereas here it says, so Purav, but this is Bhagavan also. It's not different from the Lord. So the Lord abides in people. So the Lord, the one who abides in everybody, in everything, is what is called as, he is the Uttamam, really speaking. He is the first person called as Uttama Purushaha. He is called Purushaha. Purnatvad. Purusha also means Purna, the one who's Purnaha, the one who not only pervades everything, but the one who is infinite, the one who is complete. Says Anugrahakaha, the one who blesses everything. Blesses in the sense, to bless sometimes you don't have to do anything. So just he says, when you invite somebody for the wedding, what do you say? So please come, please come and bless. That means you're not expected to do anything. Keep your mouth shut. Just be there. Sit quietly. Just bless the couple. Don't create any problem. Like Bhagavan also. Bhagavan doesn't have to really do anything. It is just by being what he is, he blesses, called Anugrahakaha. Then Adhiyajnaha. What is Adhiyajnaha? It says, oh, we will read that. Okay. adiyajñohamevatra dehe dehavritambara. So adiyajñaha aham eva atra dehe dehavritambara. Hey vara, vara, hey vara. Vara is Shrestha, one who's the most exalted. He's answering Arjuna. So it's a direct answer. So he also refers to him, calls out to him. So he says, the one who Adi Yajnaha is the one, Dehe Deha Vritam is the one who abides in everybody. But who's that? He says, Aham eva atra. In this context, is I am, it is me alone. Me. Who's saying this? So Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna as Ishvara, he's talking now. So he says, Sthiti Karta, as Sthiti Karta. So Srishti Sthiti, I've talked about this. So as creator, we say, Bhagavan, we use the term Ishvara for the one who's the cause of everything. And when we use cause of everything, there is a reference point naturally. We are not talking from its own standpoint. We are talking of, so it being the cause, Brahman being the cause of everything. So the effect is what? The Jagat, the universe. So the effect is universe. He becomes the cause of the universe. That is what we use the word Ishvara for that. And whenever we use the word Ishvara, we are referring to something, the creator. And so creator is always referred to in a threefold manner, Triputi. Okay. It's not just one, because Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya always go together. The creation, the destruction, and sustenance always go together. So each aspect is represented. Ishvara is the one who creates is called Brahma, as the one who sustains Sthiti is called Vishnu, and the one who, as the one that destroys, is called as Maheshwara. So thus, this is here, he says, Aham eva atra, as Sthiti Karta, as the one who sustains. In other words, Vishnu. So here it is just me as Vishnu, Ishvara as the one that sustains everything, is called as Adi Yajnaha. Yajno Vai Vishnu, Sarva Yajna Abhimani Devata, is considered to be Vishnu. So Vishnu is the presiding deity of all the yajnas. Okay? So all the yajnas, prayers that are done, is for us, for everything there is a presiding deity, which means the Lord looked at from a certain standpoint becomes a presiding deity. So for all the sacrifices that are done, for all the yajnas that are done, the presiding deity is Vishnu. So thus he says here, remember here the karma that is talked about, yajna in terms of karma, etc. So he is the one who is the karma phaladata. As the sthiti karta, is the one that keeps everything going, the Bhagavan. Not as Brahmaji. There is the creator. And Maheshwara is the one that causes the decline or the change. Whereas the one that is sthiti karta, that one sustains everything, the one who gives karma phalam for everything that I do, all the yajnas, etc., that is Bhagavan as Vishnu. So thus he says, Aham eva atra is Adi Yajnaha. And Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalebaram Yah prayati samadbhavam Yati nastyatra samshayah. So antakale cha mam eva smaran Kalaivaram muktva yah prayati. So the one yah prayati means the one who goes on, the one who moves on, one who moves on, the one who goes. When he says Kalaivaram muktva, so giving up is a shariram. So giving up the shariram, giving up the body, the one who moves on. What happens? Antakale mam eva smaran. Mam smaran antakale. Antakale is at the time of death. Remember, the last question of Arjuna was Prayana Kale. So at the end, when I die, at the time of death, what happens to the person? So how does he, what is his connection with you? So he says, the one who remembers me, Mameva Smaran, remembering the Lord, the one who goes on after death, what happens to him? Samad Bhavam Yati. He gains, so he gains Mad Bhavam. So this is how you have to explain all this. So in other words, simple ways. So Gati, he talks of a Gati. So where does this person go after death? He says, whatever Yante Matihi Sa Gatihi. It is said. Yante Matihi. So Ya Ante Matihi. Matihi is thinking. So whatever is the thinking at the time of death, that is where the person goes. Okay. So this is simple. Actually, this looks very simple. So you do whatever you want to do all your life. And then at the end, you think of the right thing. It's like getting on a bus. You have to get on the right bus. So look at the sign, get on the right bus, you get to the right place. Okay. So here at the end of so I just think of the Lord that's why in the end, no, everybody tries to get this person to think of Bhagavan. So they, what do do this Nama, do Vishnu Sahasranama, put on the tapes, put on the CDs, everything you do so that this person's matihi. Okay. So Yante matihi sagati, it is said, whatever is your mati at the end, that is going to be your gati, that is going to be your, so the journey, the direction you go. But then the person it doesn't work not that simple. So, because where the mind is going to be is where the mind is all the time, really speaking. So, in order to have the mind at the end in a particular way, it has to be so familiar with the territory, before. If I have to think of the Lord at the end of the life, I have to be familiar with the territory. Otherwise, I'm not going to think of that. I'm going to think of all kinds of other problems, the stock, etc. If all my mati is on a stock all the time, so there also I'll be worried. Finally, at the last moment, did I come out ahead or did I come out a loser? At the end of the whole, that's finally the thing, right? What matters at the end, whether you are in the red or in the black. So there is where is going to be the. I told you, we knew this person. So he was in a coma for 8 months, and then somehow everybody had given up on him, but he woke up. He really woke up, and we happened to be there at that time. He just had come out of the coma. And so the first thing he asked Gosha, she was working in a bank, and that had gone IPO, and he had bought stock in that. The first question, truly, this is no joke. First question he asked was, "How is the, how is the thing? What? Yeah, how is the stock doing? What's the value?" He wanted to know. So the minute he came back, he knew exactly what he was. So that is Matti. He must have gone in like that only. So therefore, when he came up, he just continued from where he left off. So so for which he says he elaborates on this now a little bit further. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम् तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः यं यं वा smaran bhavam tyajanti. So here, we have, so, in terms of the what happens. So there is it's all karma based. So there is two types of gati that are talked about in this particular chapter. So gati is the journey. There are two types of journey talked about with reference to a person. So who does prayers? So who lives a life of karma? That is the whole context here. The gati is not for a person who's a jivan mukta. For a jivan mukta, so there is no gati. There is no gati for it because it is mukta already. So for the person who's not a mukta, jivan mukta, so there is a gati. So for which there are two types of path which are talked about. There again it depends on what is the person's thinking. Abhyasa is what is his mind constantly engaged in. For which he says, Yam Yam Devata Vishesham. In whatever form I invoke the Lord, in that form I experience the Lord, really speaking. So one Gati talks about, so the person going to lokas. So therefore, suppose a Shiva Bhakta. So Shiva Bhakta is going to, where do you think a Shiva Bhakta is going to find himself? Shiva Bhakta, whole life he worshipped the Lord, so propitiating the Lord in the form of Shiva, and then all kinds of things, etc. He does, and then he dies. He dies. Now he has to, as a jiva, he experiences karma phala. Where do you think he'll end up? Will he end up in Vaikuntham? Will he end up in Vaikuntham, or he'll end up in Kailasha? Where will he end up? So obviously, it's obvious, obvious. So suddenly, God won't do that to him, correct? So whatever, at least God won't do that to him. That is like a joke. So he had the last laugh. All the Shiva Bhaktas ended up in Vaikuntham. All the Vishnu Bhaktas ended up in Kailasha. And there was this whole big. This is Bhagavan wanted to teach a lesson. I wanted to teach a lesson to everybody that you all, so there is no difference between the two. I've been telling this all the time. Shastram has been teaching all the time. But you people like idiots keep fighting with each other. Didn't understand anything. So this is it now. Now you at least, now you'll get it. That there is no difference. So what with the bhaktas, of course, what are they going to say? Okay, or what else are you going to say? So this can happen. This can very easily happen, but not like that. Doesn't happen like that. It says whichever form you are comfortable, whichever way you invoke the Lord. So that is how you get blessed, really speaking. Bhagavan blesses us in that particular form. So we talk about, so yam yam smaran bhavan tyajanti, he goes away. He says tam eva tad, he gains tad bhavam. So he gets blessed in that particular way. So we talk of different lokas are talked about. So all kinds of lokas are there, and so somebody wants to go to be with Lord Vishnu, he is going to end up in Vaikuntham, and he is going to be, he'll have that. Then they in Vishishta Advaita they talk of so different types of end. So loka prapti, they call it prapti. So prapti is gaining different kinds of, and so there is a loka prapti. So you go to that particular, you go to the like lokam where you want to go to, you know. So, and then there is this, the proximity, again proximity to the Lord. So you're close to the Lord. So there are certain samipyam, sayujyam, samyam, all these different types of, because when you talk of a location, when there is a certain separation, when the whole solution and the problem is understood in terms of, so separation between the cause and the effect, then separation means then oneness is of different types. So then how are you going to be close to the thing that you are separated from? So it is only proximity, is a physical proximity, right? So that is called as samipya. You're close to Bhagavan. But how close is close? How close is close? You can't be close. There are other people there. So first of all, before us, so many have gone before us. So naturally, even if it is first come first serve, suppose proximity is determined by first come first serve, then we are going to be very very far away. Suppose proximity is determined by other qualities, then there are other people there, who have so a greater, you know, a greater right of being there, closer to Ananta is there, Garuda is there. So our so many, our Narada is there, etc. Narada may have stepped out to go somewhere else, but he'll coming back. So all those people will be he'll have more samipyam than other people. So it's not really, one can't take those things so literally, some of these concepts. So some, because each one has its own limitation, as long as there is separation, then they talk about other things too. Samyam. Samyam means being like Bhagavan. Sarupyam. Sarupyam, having the rupa, having the rupam, like the Lord. It's some form of identifying. It's interesting. If you see sometimes they do pujas. I've seen this. So in this some of these homams, Devi, Bhagavati Seva and all they do. So the priest, you see how he dresses up, right? Have you seen that? So sometimes they dress up. He dresses up like the Devi, correct? They dress up like the Devi. So, in Kerala, they will do that. So I used to wonder, what is this? What is they doing? But really, it is a form of this sarupyam. When you think about it, So I'm invoking the Lord in a certain rupa, correct? And then I identify with that rupa, you know. I identify with that rupa. So which we do that, it is some form of an identification that goes on, even in the process. It's like a esoteric. It's a esoteric form of worship where you identify with the particular rupa. So then you gain the qualities of that which you identify with. Children will do this, right? Little kids do that. That's why they want to wear your clothes. The little girl, and she wants to wear the clothes of the mother, and she'll wear your shoes, you wear your boots, and whatever the parent is doing, this one wants to, get into literally get into the shoes of the other person. It's a form of wanting to identify. Okay, so here also they talk of sarupyam, samyam, proximity. It's really seeking, again, is nothing but seeking some kind of a oneness, But then how am I going to get that oneness? So either there cannot, if my basic premise is a separation, then that oneness will always be, there will always be some kind of an need to want to gain that. Or there is samyam is understood also can be in terms of aikyam, so oneness, there it is oneness in terms of swarupa. So essentially there is no difference. If in essentially there is no difference, then there is oneness to begin with. So that is one kind of becoming one with the Lord. So when you look at Advaita, in Advaita they talk about oneness in terms of Swarupa. In terms of Swarupa. So the essential nature is not different. So whether it is Satchidanandam, described as Satchidananda Swarupam for the Atma, or whether it is described in terms of Satyam Jnanam Anantam with reference to cause, really the three words don't mean different in terms of those two. The differences are only because of the upadhi. So upadhi is something that creates a functional difference, the incidental difference. Essentially, there is oneness. This is how so Advaita understands it. Then there are other ways of understanding also, like in Vishishta Advaita or in Dvaitam, where there is the basic premise is there is some kind of a separation is there. There is not this total identity is not there. So there, then they have to understand this coming together again. This yoga, sayujya, this coming together is understood in terms of how close you can get. So therefore, there are degrees of closeness talked about, especially in Vishishta they talk about this sarupyam and samyam and sayujyam, all that. So in Gita, Bhagavan says that yam yam bhavam, in whichever form I I worship the Lord, I understand the Lord, I remember the Lord in that particular form. In that way, I get blessed by Bhagavan in that form. Okay. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu manusmara yudhya cha Mayarpitamano buddhihi mame vaishyasya samshayaha. So just before that, just one other point I wanted to mention. So there's an example, nice example given in the Puranas. So of this Bharata Rishi. So there are different Bharatas that are talked about, but there's one particular Bharata who was the son of Rishabha. So he's a great sage, and he's there in the ashram, etc. He's doing his penance, and then what happens there is an incident where a deer, so there is a pregnant deer, so about to give birth to the baby, and then something happens, and this deer is dying. But before death, it's just able to give birth to the fawn, to the baby. And so this sage, he looks at the fawn, and it's going to die now because his mother had died. So he feels full of compassion, and he takes that fawn, and he takes care of it. So he takes care of it, and he raises it, etc. So in the process, while he does that, he becomes tremendously attached to this fawn, to this deer. And so this deer, he raises the deer, and this it follows it around, etc. It becomes like a pet. But he's always so concerned about this deer now, with all his attachment, that he starts neglecting his his other things, his tapasana. So finally, when it's time for this Bharata Muni to die, so he dies at the time of death. So he's so worried about this deer, about what's going to happen to deer. So his smaranam, the thing is, his mind is totally preoccupied with the with the deer. So when he's born again, later on he dies, then he's born as a deer. Really. So he gets born as a deer. And then the story continues. So as a deer. But then he happened to be born in an ashram. He was born in an ashram, as it obviously, because that is what there's the other part of it too. So that can't go away. So he's born in the ashram, etc. And then he lives a life in a different kind of a life. That's why, in ashrams you'll find some, we used to have, when I was attending the course first time. So we had a dog there, and we had named the dog Bhagavan. Anyway, I don't know why, but somebody named him Bhagavan, and so because this dog, every class, when the class starts, he would come. He would come and sit outside the door and listen. The whole class, he'll be sitting quietly and listening. Then the class is over, he'll disappear, go away. Then you won't see the fellow anywhere around. Again, next time, class time, like all the students come. It's true, this is true. Then this one will also come, and he will sit there. In every ashram, just about, wherever there is teaching, you always find. So some jantus are there which become part of the class. Sometimes they do more Shravana than some of the students also do Shravana. So this is very interesting to see. So maybe there are some people like that who missed out the first time. But then for whatever reason, they again show up, Yeah, yeah, everywhere you see this very not at all uncommon to see this kind of a thing. Somebody, one animal, somewhere, something will be there. It will always show up, and then it goes away. So, so he says, so what? Okay. So tasma, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Obviously. So in order to be in a position that one is able to do that, at the end, he says all the time and has to do because it has to come naturally. It has to come naturally. At least, so if you are in India, the people around you will force you to listen. Here, even that you can't count on. So better to just ourselves keep thinking. He says, Yudhya. Also, what is this Yudhya? He says, Mam Anusmara, always think of Bhagavan. Then also, now, hey, you also get up and fight. Why is he asking? No, idea is not you get fight. Idea is Swadharmam Guru. Do your duty because here the context is he still has to finish his job. So he's still, he can't say, then he'll say, okay, Bhagavan, I don't want to fight now. I'm going to go and do your Smaranam. I'm going to do. No, you finish what you have to do also. You have to do that. So complete what you have to do, but at the same time, don't keep me out of your radar, your orbit. Mai arpita mano buddhi. So when the mind and the buddhi, so it's a cognitively and sentimentally, the one who's connected to me, he says, Mam eva Mame Vaishyasya Asamshaya. There is no doubt that so you or the person is going to be with me, not separate from me. Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Gamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthanu Chintayan Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa na Anyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati He Partha Anuchintayan. So Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. So by Abhyasa Yoga. By doing Abhyasa Yoga. What do you mean by Abhyasa Yoga here? Here it talks about so Chetasa. So this particular why it talks about Upasana here. So by doing Upasana is a form of meditation. So there are by meditation in Dhyanam, you know, there are different forms of meditation, but one thing is common, and that is what is called as so uh, uh, superimposing something on something else. That's the meaning of upasana. So nikrishta vastuni utkrishta vastu aropaha is the definition of upasana. So on a symbol, you superimpose something which is higher, something which is higher. So like I take Saligramam or I take Shivalinga, and on which I imagine it is the Lord, naturally. And then I do worship on the icon. So that is called as is a form of upasana. Even prayer is a form of the puja that we do also is a form of upasana because I'm visualizing something else on something else. So here in this we call as in a simple this is a simple form of upasana called as sampatti upasana. Okay. Then there is also what is called as ahangraha upasana, where so I visualize, I superimpose on, when I say, so the Lord is in me. Okay, the Lord is in me. So I found out. So Bhagavan what I understand as Bhagavan is that which pervades everything. It pervades all beings. It pervades me also. So the Lord in me, when we say the Lord in me, so everybody can has some understanding of this, right? The Lord in me. So now it all depends on what kind of understanding I have, correct? So understanding can be at different levels. So here I say me, okay, I'm this individual. And then there is the Lord. Lord is something which is very big above me. And so this Bhagavan is somehow, so is I'm connected to the Lord, and this Lord is in me somehow. So it's not very clear how, but at the so I sit down and pray, and so I pray to the Lord in me. Deho devalaya proktaha. So this body is a temple. I mean, the whole body is a temple. And like in a temple, there is the murti. Like this, there is something inside. So which is called as Atma. And then this Atma is it is divine. So it is like a Jyoti, etc. So this is some kind of visualization. Now, is this a clear cognitive understanding, or it is a kind of a visualization? So it can be a kind of a visualization also, where here it would be like an upasana. So here is a simple upasana where I am visualizing on myself, however I understand myself as something which is higher. This higher is something in me. I am not separate from that. But so this can be kind of an upasana, or there can be a different kind of clarity of understanding of exactly what this particular thing is. Okay, so this upasana in terms of understanding, so it's called ahangraha, where on me I superimpose something which is higher, is also like an upasana. Or there is a omkara upasana, so where the word om, so om is seen as the om is a name, is a name for the Lord. So Om, in Omkara Upasana, what is Om? So Om is first of all, so Om can be a sound, correct? It can be just a sound. So Om naturally it's a sound. Om, when I say it's a sound. So when I say Om can be just a sound, or it can be a word. It can be a word. What's the difference? So a meaningful sound is called as a word, right? So when I have a sound which has a particular meaning that refers to something, then it becomes a word, like table. Table is also a sound. Om is also a sound. But then, so when I say table, I mean a particular object. So this becomes a word. There's a what is called as abhideyam. So there is a nama. It becomes a name for an object. Correct? So table is a sound that becomes a name for an object. Like that, when I use the word om, I can think that om is just a sound, is some kind of a mystical sound. Okay. Or om is a name, also name for something. In fact, so what om is a sound symbol. It's a sound symbol in the sense, so it represents something. Om iti Brahma. So Narayana, it represents Narayana. It's true. So this is nice. So Om is Narayana, really speaking. So when I say Om, because Jagat Karanam, Om refers to Om refers to Jagat Karanam. So you can sit on that also. Chair is there. So Jagat Karanam Ishvara. In fact, Om stands for Ishvara. So Om iti Brahma, Om iti Idagam Sarvam, etc. So there Om becomes a name. Om becomes a name. So thus we have Omkara Upasana. So where Om, it depends on how I understand Om. Om can be a sound, Om can be a name. It can be a name for Ishvara, can be a name for Vishnu. Om is Brahma, that jnanam I have. So depending, when I say Upasana, Upasana is not just one thing, it can have it can mean slightly different things. So when I do, so for a person who's an upasaka, who does upasana, on Omkara Upasana, they say there is one kind of gati talked about, it's prayer. Then there are two gatis that talk about in this chapter. And there is, so he has one kind of an end. Then there is another gati talked about for a karma yogi. For a karma yogi. So the person who does a karma yogi, who's a karma yogi? So who does actions with a certain attitude, and then who does prayers, etc. So he lives a dharmic life. He lives a life of dharma and keeping being does pujas, etc. So for this, a person gains a lot of punya. He also has one kind of gati that is talked about. So we will see this next time. So where it talks of two types of margas. Marga is a path for the individual after death. We'll look at that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha Harihi Om